Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G. Your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Hey, what do you say? We got another rockin' show here at Getting Home Sourced, as I'm your host, Gianno. As always, I'd like to open up by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whoever you're listening around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, I have to say, for my newbies, my first timers, thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for being a part of our family. And whoever referred you, or you just happened to get lucky and listen to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to check out my newsletter. Go to biggesthomesource.com, sign up, get all the information, get all the facts and data that we're putting out there for everybody. And for, you know who it is, my big family, the engine that drives the Ferrari. All of you out there supporting the show, supporting each other, community, family, thank you so much, my repeat offenders. Love you guys as always. And again, same thing. If you haven't got on the newsletter yet, check it out. VegasHomeSource.com, or you can contact me, Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. You have my toll-free G hotline number, 888-528-2810. And as I mentioned last week, we had some glitches for the past couple of weeks, but we got that all cleared up now. So we're all good to go there. And for my domestic friends, just put the 702 in instead of the 888. Same thing to go. Now, for this show, we have another reveal, of course, because as we always talked about at the beginning of the year, 2026 is the year of reveal. So, but this show today, I'm going to do another play on words as we title the show, Find, Fund, and Flip. Now, obviously, when we look at that, the first thing we're thinking of is, it's an investor, find property, get the money, turn around, close it, rehab it, flip it, and make the profit. But a little twist on here is that we're going to do a deep dive on the actual what's going on behind the scenes, because how are these hedge funds and banks and financial institutions running around, investment groups are going and buying these properties, right? So especially with realtors and brokers, because sometimes a lot of the realtors and brokers get involved as well. They're borrowing money and what have you, and they're looking for distressed properties. And again, I get text messages probably 5 times a day asking, and it's mostly AI anyway, and they're all asking, what do you have? What can you flip? What's a good distress situation? And most of the time it's AI, because then I go back with them and say, well, what do you have in the inventory right now? What do you have that's available? What have you sold? And mind you, folks, I don't even know most of these people. I would say I probably know like 5% of the people that reach out to me, because really at the end of the day, the ones that I really do know, they're going to get the deal. But a lot of these other, as I call bot numbers, they, call up, they text, they don't know personality, not even calling up. When I ask them what's happening, they go crickets. They don't have nothing to say. And then they still keep asking, what do you have? What do you have? So you know that either they're not even from town, or they're disguising themselves going through chatbots. And then eventually when you ignore them, then they come through. But it's kind of funny how when I ask, what do you have in your inventory? What are you selling? And tell me what your highest price point is. What's your buy box, as we call it? and they just can't answer it. So therefore, we know that it's just an AI tool. Just saying, I said, at least if you're going to contact me and you want to get my contact information and text me by name, probably a good idea for you folks out there that are doing that kind of program. Think you might want to take the time, get an auto dialer, and dial the agent instead of sending some random text that eventually your number is going to get blocked and then discarded. So not really a good look, just saying. But for the show here today, the real question, again, the find, fund, flip kind of spin is, how are they structuring themselves to find and fund and flip? Because this not only pertains to, again, the banks and large firms and what have you, but it's also the mom and pops, right? Because the mom and pops still have to get something to do. Like we call it family size investors. And the answer is quite simple, folks. It's all through corporations, or as I like to say, business entities, okay? Because it's obviously termed differently around the world in certain cities, states, countries that you are in. But for here in the U.S. as well as for Mexico, we have things that are corporations like LLCs, which is a limited liability company. You can have one or multiple people on that entity. We also have a regular corporation, which is called an INC, which is an Inc. And then you file that like as a subchapter S, which is a pass-through of income, or you file it as a chapter C, where you're taking payroll taxes out and what have you, and also medical benefits as well. And then you also have trust, right? So for my international friends, you can easily buy a property here in the United States and also in Mexico, if you wanted.
You must tell me, who the heck are you?
By setting up a domestic or foreign entity, right? So it's your foreign entity. Your foreign entity from wherever you are can also come here and set up a domestic entity, which would be an American entity. And then now the foreign entity owns the domestic entity, and then that domestic entity would go out and make a property acquisition, right? Because this way you're bypassing, the United States taxes with capital gains, 15, even 30% off your capital gain, because you're buying as a foreigner. And most people don't realize that if you set yourself up with a corporation domestic, when I say domestic, meaning in the United States, it doesn't necessarily have to be in Nevada. It could be in Delaware. It could be in Wyoming. It could be in Montana. These are all states that you could set up your entity in, or your place of business per se, through the LLC or a trust or an Inc. or whatever entity you want to set it up as. And then from there, you go ahead and make the property acquisition. So while you're buying domestically, you're still doing, you're setting up that triad. You're setting up that pyramid to where you're protecting yourself, because everything is layered. And in the U.S., this is allowable. So this is what's exciting. And you'd be surprised, folks, a lot of people do not take advantage of the corporate asset protection. And I've been talking about this now for God knows probably a good solid year. And the best thing is that, again, when you're going into Cabo, I could set you up at a Mexican corporation, right, through a fideicomiso, which is, again, a trust down there. But you can also, as a foreigner, so let's say Italy, for example, you're in Rome or Bologna or wherever, and you set up let's just say Bologna LLC. And you take the Bologna LLC, and then you wind up going ahead and you're purchasing or setting up a acquisition here in the United States. So now you can go ahead and do an acquisition in the United States, let's say Nevada. And you're here in Nevada, and you do Bologna, New York, or Bologna, U.S. LLC. Now that Bologna, New York LLC, let's say, let's use that for example, can go ahead and now set up a Mexican corporation in Cabo, right? As a Mexican corp, you could do Bologna Cabo LLC. And then the Bologna Cabo LLC now owns the property in Cabo through a fideicomiso, but the parent company would be the American company, right? So let's say Bologna, New York LLC, or even just Bologna LLC in Italy. So you have two ways to go, folks. So just using Italy as an example, you can go ahead and take the Bologna and go direct, set up a Mexican corporation, and you're covered, right? So the key is that you're not buying it in your name. So you could take advantage of all the write-offs, which we call facturas in Mexico, receipts, right? So you're getting the discounts on that as opposed to being an individual.
Now this is more like it.
And why would you want to buy as an individual? You don't want that exposure. You want to protect yourself, okay? And again, this is the reason why for my Reveal program. So now I'm proud to say that I am partnering with my dear friends. Again, we've been working with this behind the scenes and now launching my Concierge Tax Benefits Partnership Program. That's right. Let me say it again. My Concierge Tax Benefits Partnership Program through the owners of Live the Corporate Life with my dear friends, John and Salim. So thank you for both of you for bringing a team together and family together. And so now we're able to take our international friends as well as my domestic friends, take it to the next level, folks, with home ownership and investments. Because look, folks, at the end of the day, I mean, it's absolutely scary that I see people buying expensive properties without what? A tax benefit. Why? I don't understand that. So, because here's the thing, folks, you go out and you're buying property and it's in your name. Well, most states in the United States is public record. They're going to know who you are. There's liability. We have a litigious society. People are suing people for everything and anything. Why would you not want to protect yourself under the corporate veil? And this is something that I'm very passionate about because I've seen people lose homes, again, through divorce, through litigation, through, outside situations, basically financial institutions come in, foreclose on your property, and you have no protection, right? Because everything is out there for the taking. So again, now with my Concierge Tax Benefits Partnership Program, I'm now having internationals as well as domestics come in. You're going to contact me. I'm going to get you in place with John and Salim. We're going to get you set up. We're going to structure you properly and accordingly and align yourself to how you want to go and purchase real estate, whether it be in Mexico or whether it be in the United States. And it's not so much here for Vegas, folks. You could buy anywhere in the U.S. I got you covered. Like I told you, I have a very vast network. I will put you in the right places. But for those that don't know, Nevada is the strongest asset protection state in the United States. Second would be Delaware, okay, on the East Coast. But on the West Coast or Southwest, we're in Nevada, we're in Las Vegas, number one asset protection, okay? And it's something that people should understand because it's like, even like, let's say in Europe, people are buying different properties. You could be French and you're buying something in Germany, or you're in Germany and you're buying something in Austria, or you're in Austria and you're buying something in the UK, right? So we have to figure out like what's the best country to have the best asset protection. But even though you have a foreign investment, why not buy into that and get set up? When I say buy into, like you're creating, of course you have to pay for it, you're creating a domestic entity, corporate entity, business entity, right? So in this case, I'm going to say limited liability company, which we use a lot of here in the U.S. because it gives you a lot of strong protection and asset, and multiple people can be on there for the what we call the articles of incorporation, but that's another story. But the point is now we want to get people to keep money in their pocket because again, we have what's FIRPA over here, foreign investment tax requirements that you have to pay, especially let's say a lot of Canadians, for instance, for all my Canadian friends that are listening, you know what I'm talking about. You're coming into the U.S., you're buying property, you're paying that 15 or 30% FIRPA tax because you're outside the country, you're a foreigner, you did not set yourself up as an LLC domestically to keep the money in the country and then just move it around, okay? So this is what's concerning. I know there's a lot of people that are thinking about that because I had a lot of questions asking about How can I do that in Mexico? This is how you do it, folks. You could do it either from your country direct into Mexico and set up a Mexican corporation, or you could be in whatever country that you're in. Let's get you set up through Nevada because you have the highest asset protection, right? And then use that American entity to go into Cabo and then absorb the property as a parent company through your Mexican corporation. Folks, this is how rich people make money. Everything is the shell game. You're layering yourself, you're protecting yourself. But again, I got to tell you, it's scary when I go on what we call the assessor map here in Las Vegas, where I'm able to click on properties and it's public record. So I can see who owns the property, when they bought it, how much they paid for it, and all the specifics. It's public records, folks. Okay. So, but the thing is that I would have to say 80% of the home ownership here in Las Vegas is all in their personal name. Why? I just don't understand it, but that's going to change today, folks, because people that are listening here in Las Vegas, you definitely got to get a hold of me because, again, it's interesting. My partners, we have it to set up as live the corporate life, and that's exactly what it is. Live the corporate life. Take advantage of the tax breaks that the government here in America gives you, and most people don't do it. It's like saying, okay, I want to go gamble, but instead of using house money for free, I'd rather go pay my own. Why would you do that if the house is giving you free money? This is my point. It's the same kind of analogy. So again, the goal of the show here is to find, fund, and flip out of buying and selling in your personal name and get into corporate. We have to set you up now as a corporate entity, and you fund the entity and then you flip out of your personal name. So that's the show in a nutshell. You're going to find yourself, you're going to find the corporate entity, you're going to fund the corporate entity and flip out of your personal name if you're already established as a docile and it's your primary residence. Same thing. You have to do it. It's not just for investment. It's for primary residence as well as having a secondary vacation home, whatever you want to call it. So on that note, I want to take a quick commercial break as we flip to a commercial break, as I say. And then when we come back, I want to discuss more reveals. So stay tuned.
When it comes to luxury living, every detail matters. From private viewings to personalized experiences, Vegas Home Source doesn't just sell homes, they curate lifestyles. Whether you're buying your dream penthouse or selling a signature property, Vegas Home Source delivers concierge-level service designed for your success. Luxury isn't just a price point, it's a personal experience. Let Vegas Home Source make yours unforgettable. Vegas Home Source, your luxury concierge realtor, because you deserve more than just a transaction.
Hey, what do you say? What do you say? Thank you so much for sticking around in the back half of Getting Home Sources. I'm your host, Gianno. And again, folks, just thank you for our community. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for just really understanding and reaching out, because it really means the world to me when I'm getting that feedback and that participation, okay? Because again, a lot of people are just not going to tell you the things that we're discussing. They just want to talk about what they're doing and how you can, learn from them and what have you, as opposed to, hey, I'm giving you the facts. It's street talk, it's real talk, and it's protection. You have to protect yourself in life as well as in business, because if you're not doing that, then you're vulnerable and you're open to what? Litigation. You're open to ambiguity. Again, folks, think about it. In any country or city, state that you live in, whether it's the U.S., Canada, overseas, Europe, Middle East, what have you. And again, my hearts go out to everybody that's going on there with the conflict. Again, I have to put that out there and acknowledge that. So I'm hoping everybody's safe to some degree and have this thing kind of get moving so we can get back to real world, because it's just ridiculous when you see what's going on. It's disgusting. However, we want to make this a real estate show, not a political show. But again, we have to acknowledge and again, we give our hearts and prayers out to everybody that's been affected in a negative way. Now, in regards to the show, exactly that, okay? You don't want to, I'm going to use a term, you don't want to get attacked personally by not protecting yourself. You leave yourself open and you're vulnerable. And that's both, again, folks, international and domestic, you have to be strategic. Why not strategically position yourself so this way when you're doing investments, or again, folks, wherever you're living, in your backyard, right? So you want to get the highest corporate style of protection. That's how a lot of these corporations, they don't pay a lot of tax because they got so many shell corporations. When I say shell, folks, meaning that you're having like dummy accounts, right? So you can have Gianno as the parent company, Gianno LLC. And then underneath Gianno LLC, we have Vegas Home Source is owned by Gianno LLC. And then laterally, I can have Cabo G owned by Gianno LLC. And then I can have companies below Vegas Home Source and below Cabo G. And it just keeps getting layered down, 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 down. Same thing, folks. You guys right now can do the same thing. Now with my concierge tax benefits partnership program, we want to help you. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't necessarily have to be an entity in Nevada. We have it to where you could get set up in any state that benefits you for internationals as well as domestic in the country.
It's going savage.
It's that easy. We're not just saying, hey, you got to come in here and you got to set up a Nevada corporate. No, not at all. Would I advise you to do that? Yeah, because it's going to be the highest asset protection. And I'll be honest, I have tons of corporations that are set up here in Nevada because why not? You take advantage of the tax benefits and everything kind of writes itself off, right? So that's why you don't hear about this a lot. They really don't teach it a lot. So for what? I mean, you go through real estate or you go through real estate school, a lot of agents or brokers or whoever you're talking to, yeah, the first thing they're not going to tell you about a corporation. It's kind of like they assume that you already know because you spoke to your attorney, you spoke to your financial planner, you spoke to your accountant to get yourself, situated and allocated with the process. But I'm here to tell you that entity building, let's just call it entity building. I like that name. Entity building to buy in the U.S. and Mexico is at a premium now, folks, because how beautiful is it to say that you could do that? And for any of my doubters that are out there that are like, there's no need to do all that stuff, and I don't believe that that's the case and what have you. Well, listen, I talked about it before on creating entities and trusts and LLCs and anything that you're going to do to layer yourself, because again, in America, things change, and as well as in Mexico, things are changing now there too with their policies and how what they call expats and foreigners that are actually moving down here to live, or they have a secondary property. How are they doing things? And they want to see how they can make money, right? Especially if it's in a personal name. But when you have it under a Mexican corporation held in a bank trust, which is the fideicomiso, you get it? You're set. You're dialed in. You're ready to roll. I don't care what anybody else is telling you out there, and they're like, "Oh, just come down and buy, and everything's going to be great." Hey, look, do it the smart way. This is the smart way. There's no other way. You have to get a corporation. It's silly to just go down there and buy it in your personal name. I'm sorry. I just got to tell it like it is, because if I don't, people go down there. They're going to get duped. They're going to get stuck. There could be liability, there could be vulnerability, and then we have problems. Why get into that trap? So that's why I'm asking everybody, especially my international friends, if you're not already having an entity where you live, that's the first thing you should be doing on your personal property in what you own. First and foremost, if it's what I call an LLC, if you have a family trust, create a family trust, because here's the thing, folks. You create a trust, okay? And then through the trust, you set up a corporation. And then when you have the corporation, the trust owns the corporation. So folks, on paper, you're broke. You have no money, okay? Because the trust has everything. The LLC has everything. So if anybody's going to go after you and sue you personally, guess what? You're broke. You got no money because you show nothing. Because everything is hidden in the trust and in your corporation. And here's the thing, folks, when you set up your corporation, whether it's an LLC, Inc., or whatever, you never put down president, you always put down managing member. So who's really owning the corporation is the corporation itself. So there you go. That's the secret roadmap. That is the playbook. That is the secret roadmap to success. This is what a lot of high wealth people do. So this is something that has to be shared because unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to give out their playbook. They want to be the top dog. They don't want anybody else to succeed. And when you listen to all these people and how to get rich and all these type of things, they just want you to buy their programs. Folks, this is my program is what, yeah, you got to pay to get a trust set up and you got to pay to get an LLC and an entity. Of course, it's a cost item, but nothing to the cost items that's ridiculous where you have to listen to tapes and books and whatever. No, you're going to contact me. Then at that stage of the game, we find out what you need to do. What's the angle that you're looking to do? I get you in front of Celine. I get you in front of John. Then if it's not in person, it's over the phone. And then we can create your corporate lifestyle. You have to live as a corporation. Just like marriage is a business, folks. When people are married, what are you doing? It's a union, okay? It's a business. What is it? A partnership. It's the same premise, folks. When you're married, it's a partnership. You're paying bills with each other. You have the liabilities. You have the risks. Everything is what? Together, okay? It's a partnership. Now, we're taking it to the next level where it's a concierge tax benefit partnership program because now the partnership relationship is me with John and Celine with living the corporate life, okay? And now we're bringing you in because, again, free consultation, folks. You can go in there, set up, nobody's charging you to be on the clock, email, call, what have you, and then you're going over there and we get you planned out. The only thing it's going to cost you is when it comes time to set up what? Your paperwork, obviously, and your corporate entity. We're entity building. That's what it's. And folks, let me tell you something. You're paying lesser than what you would pay for an attorney. I can tell you that right off the bat, okay? But I will tell you that live the corporate life here in Las Vegas. We have the best people that actually work for the state of Nevada, okay? So we're covered in both legally and also government side. So we know the angles, we know the tricks of the trade to get you set up. It's just not saying, hey, call me and I'll just go throw you into a corner. Here, go throw a document together and let's go shopping. No. It's more than that. This is very detail oriented. This is very serious business. And I see a lot of people right now, folks, like I told you, there's a lot of people that are distressed, okay? And it's in their personal name and they're hurting and they're in trouble and they don't know what to do. And they wish they would have had a trust. They wish they would have had a LLC or a corporate entity. It could save themselves and they can reposition themselves. But unfortunately, like I told you, 80% of the people here in Nevada, in Las Vegas, are getting punished because they just didn't do the right thing. And that's not because they did, again, nobody's dumb. It's just that they just didn't know because nobody told them or nobody discussed it with them. Maybe shame on the attorney, shame on the financial planner, shame on the accountant for not structuring something like that. But you know what? That's okay because we're not charging attorney fees. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be at least a third of what the attorneys charge. And it's going to save you in the long run because why give your money away? And again, folks, same thing. You set up a trust. You set up an LLC. What happens if there's a death in the family? Okay, now you have beneficiaries. Why would you want them to pay tax? Because that's what happens when it goes through probate. You're paying that tax out. But if it's in a corporation and you have entities set up, there's no tax. It's a free pass-through. And this is what people are not understanding. And this is what we have to bring to the table and bring to light. So again, that's the reveal. It's live the corporate life. John and Celine and myself, we are here. It's the new program that we're launching as of today. Okay, so it's the Concierge Tax Benefits Partnership Program. I want you to call me on it. Email me for my international friends, domestic friends. I cannot hammer and emphasize this enough to everybody because there's two things I need you to do. I need you to take care first of your own primary residence, wherever you're listening around the world. Get it out of your name because people don't realize, well, I have a mortgage, so therefore I could keep the property in my name because the mortgage is in my name. No, folks, you could keep the mortgage in your name and still have a corporate entity own the property. Okay, so therefore the only person that's responsible for the mortgage is you as a person. So that's your responsibility. But on the back end, The corporation owns the house or the trust owns the house. You're covered, okay? This is what I'm trying to get people involved with, because the more that distressed properties, with all the things that are going on in the world, with wherever you're living at, and real estate markets are getting soft, they're tightening up, or they use the term, unaffordable and what have you. Well, don't lose your home. Get yourself asset protected first. Protect your asset, because your home, your docile, whatever you want to call it, is your number one asset. Everything else after that is nothing, right? So, but that's what I'm trying to talk about over here. And again, through John and Celine, I'm very happy that they're giving me the opportunity to come in, partner together. We've been talking about this for a while, and they have the trust and faith in me to bring me in to help bring you all in, because we want the protection. We want the asset. I don't want to see people losing their homes. They do that. That's why you have a lot of investors out there. What are they doing? They're setting themselves up in LLCs, and they're running around with LLCs with cash, buying properties to flip, and it's never in their name. So they're bypassing taxes, right? They're running around, and they may make it about you folks, but it's really for them. That's the line that I always use to people. It's, about you, but it's really for me, right? And that's how the investors think like that. So we have to get them off that mindset, and we have to make no, it's about, and it's for you, and that you're doing them a favor so they can make a profit. Because at the end of the day, do they really care? No, folks, they don't. They only care about the dollar. It's a machine. It's a conveyor belt. They want to make money. I get it. That's business. That's real estate. That's the way the world works. And that's why a lot of these hedge funds are running around the U.S. and buying property, just like wherever else you may be living. It's the same thing. But people that have worked here in the state of Nevada with legal counsel, okay, as well as being in government, this is huge, because this is what we do. We know the loopholes, folks. This is how you align yourself. When you have people that know how to play the game and win, that's a success story. It's not just going into an attorney's office saying, hey, set me up a trust, set me up whatever entity, and that's the end of it. No, it's more than that, okay? And this is what I'm trying to tell you, because now you're getting corporate protection, corporate lifestyle at a personal cost, not at a corporate cost. That is absolutely huge, and that's why I'm so excited and proud to bring that to you, because I always tell you, every week there's going to be a reveal. 2026, things in 2025 that were lurking in the shadows and lurking behind the curtain. What? Now the curtain rises, and now the play starts, okay? So we know I have to what? Play the game. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we have to really forecast. You have to think ahead. You have to think of the future. And this is why I'm saying to you folks, again, please, if you have a property that you're holding personally, whether it's paid for in full or whether it's a mortgage and you have some type of financial attachment to it, you have to flip out, okay, keyword, flip out of your personal status of the ownership of the property, put it in a corporation, okay, your own corporation, and then you still keep the mortgage in your name. That's it, okay? Because the only thing that you're signing for when you sign financial documents is you're personally responsible to pay back the mortgage for the money that they're giving you for the property that who owns? Do you own it? Well, yeah, but maybe the corporation should own it, right? And then you're just a member of the corporation, or set up a trust, and we can get into trust later on and do a deep dive on that on future shows. But I just want to really just touch on the fact that you have to find out about this. So find, fund, flip. Finding out about what's going on, okay? You have to fund it. You have to buy. You have to protect yourself, asset protection. Get these corporations, trusts, LLCs, what have you, Incs, what have you, set up for yourselves. And then you flip out of your personal name, get down there, and then just get it out of your name. I'm telling you, folks, huge, huge, huge difference. And again, you can also hide yourself as well. So if you don't want anybody to know where you live, perfect way to do it. How do you do it? You hide yourself. You put yourself in a corporation. The corporation owns the property, and you don't have to worry about that. So that's why, again, if you're international and you're looking to be domestic here in the U.S. or Mexico, I got you covered, okay? So that for sure, done deal. I can guarantee you that, because, again, folks, just as an example, a lot of Americans have Mexican corporations set up in Mexico to purchase property, okay? You could be an individual own a Mexican corporation, have the Mexican corporation, the fideicomiso, fine. But again, why do that? Why not set up a American corporation, have the American corporation own the Mexican corporation, the Mexican corporation owns the property through the bank trust and the fideicomiso. Folks, it's asset protection. It's layering. It's getting all these things set up for you. So this way, guess what? You are protected from the beginning to the end, and you're so layered that what are they going to do? They can't do anything because nothing is held personally. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is why I want people to get excited about this. I know it might be a lot. So maybe you listen to the show again. Okay. Go play it back on repeat. But this is exactly what it is. It's rinse and repeat. Getting the property set up, flipping it out of your personal name, moving forward. And again, I've done my homework on this, folks. This is the thing. You don't have to stress out going on ChatGPT, going on Google, going on Bing, Yahoo, all these other, browser sites, and everybody's me. No, this is about you. This is about topic. This is about now. It's about what you have to do. Okay, this is something that's so huge that now has to take precedent. It's been around forever, folks. It's just that, unfortunately, people are not taking advantage of this stuff. And you know what? Now I'm stepping in and saying that ball game's over. If you're going to be working with me and buying properties and what have you, the first thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to talk to John, you're going to talk to Celine, you are getting yourself some type of corporate entity before we go shopping. That is the first and foremost thing that's going to happen, whether it's in Mexico or whether it's in the U.S. I don't care. That's what it is because it's asset protection first and foremost. Then from there, you're in the driver's seat and you're covered, okay? Because again, there's a lot of regulations that are going to be getting passed down. Many laws are going to be changing and what have you, both again in the U.S. and Mexico, like I talked about. And folks, you have to be on top of the situation. And that's what I'm saying. There's no charge to talk. This is why we're talking. This is why you're reaching out to me. Because a lot of you are just going to figure out, I'll just go to Cabo, go buy a house, and just put it in my personal name, pay cash, and the ball game's over. No, we need to change that around. You're going to get a Mexican corporation, take advantage of the benefits, tax benefits that are available down there for you when you have a Mexican corporation. People do not emphasize this a lot. All they care about down there is basically, okay, bring your wallet, let's go shopping, drop the money. Congratulations, the house is yours. You got the ocean view, you got the golf course view, and, good night and good luck. No, do it the smart way, okay? Mexican corporation, way to go, but you're owning the Mexican corporation through your American entity or your international entity, no problem. I think it would be better for you guys to own it as an American entity because you're able to do that as an international. Come in, lock it in. We got that set up for you, no problem, okay? So, and the cost to basically for your entities is going to be so super cheap, you're going to laugh when I tell you the cost when you call me, because again, it depends upon what state we're going to set you up in, right? So that's the other thing. That's why there's a lot behind the scenes when you create the corporate entities. But again, folks, it's all about what? Opportunity, asset protection. This is what I bring to you because, again, what's the corporate life? Living the corporate life is what? It's knowing the game of life, and we have the game pieces in place for you. So all you got to just do is step up to the plate and play the game. So again, that's it. That's the show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And like I said, when you're in the campfire and you know how you're doing a campfire and you got everybody around the fire and they're waiting for the beans to get cooked or the food to get cooked, they say, come and get it. Well, folks, come and get it. Reach out. This is what I'm here for you. This is what it's all about. And again, make sure that when you're reaching out to me, tell me where you're at. You got to tell me what you want to do. You have to give like your strategy. You have to have your action plan, your business plan, how you setting it up. How would you like it to get set up? And we just give you guys options like anything else. And then when the time comes, you're locked and loaded and you're good to go. So I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Thank you. And like I said, I'm going to be in Cabo. So make sure if you're down here, come and see me. I'm going to be here for a little bit, 5 days, 4 days. So check me out. I'm meeting clients down there. Here's what we're doing. We're touring and we're buying and we're selling. And the ones that are buying, guess what? They're already set up in a corporation, so they listen. They're happy. I want the same for all of you. So we're going to do the Cabo wrap-up show when I get back. Tell you that everything's going great down there, so you don't have to worry about anything. Like I told you, it's safe. And my advertising that I put out there is showing that. And you're going to see it when I get back. And we're going to talk about it and move forward. So God bless. Take care. Have a great week. And we'll talk to you next week.
Get me out of this thing right now! You must tell me, who the heck are you?
You have just listened to Getting Home Sourced with your radio host, Gianno Buonaguro. This podcast is a registered trademark and may not be reproduced without the express written consent of VegasHomeSource.com. For additional information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call or text Gianno toll-free at 888-528-2810 or visit his website at VegasHomeSource.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.